Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we have Conor Lamb, the Democrat running for the Pennsylvania 18th Congressional District special election versus Rick Saccone. Both of these men are both running for the Pennsylvania 18th Congressional District special election, which takes place on March 13th. I'll probably do a live coverage of that, considering that'll be probably one of the first special elections leading up to the 2018 midterms, besides the ones that occurred in 2017. Rick Saccone is a well-known Republican. Conor Lamb is not as known, and he's not a stereotypical Democrat, meaning he doesn't run on the same platforms that someone who is backed by Nancy Pelosi would. But they're both pretty much veterans, and they both come from the state of Pennsylvania. So I decided, hey, why not? They had a debate last night. Let's see how they would favor out on a presidential level. I'm going to actually fill this in. From now on, I'll fill in a number of my maps using the leaning, likely, safe toss-up map. Instead of just filling it in red or blue, I would actually like to see the margins and show you guys how much I think each state would vote for specific candidates. Going over the western coast, obvious states. Actually, we'll just start off with the safe states. I'll fix the color rotation. But yeah, so Hawaii, obviously safe. Safe for Rick Saccone. Pretty much a Trump, somewhat conservative. As in his own words, he says he's Trump before Trump, which is something to note. Down in the south, areas where Rick Saccone could do very well. West Virginia included. Illinois would be safe. Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, the District of Columbia, and Alaska and Utah would be safe for Saccone. And looking at the map, we have 182 electoral votes for Conor Lamb to 104 for Rick Saccone. So now we're going to start off by filling in respective states. So Texas obviously is not going to pretty much go to the Democrats, even with Conor Lamb on the ticket, but I think it could be a possibility that it could be a likely state, meaning it would be within 5 to 10% for Rick Saccone. Over in Missouri, again, I think it could be likely. Same thing in Indiana. Vice President Mike Pence is pretty popular there, per se. But yeah, so I think that these states would be leaning. Going down to Arizona, I would leave that one as leaning for leaning for Rick Saccone. This means likely. This darker red, and the darkest red obviously is safe. But New Mexico, I would leave that one as leaning blue. Colorado, I would leave that one as leaning blue. Sorry, New Mexico is likely blue. Colorado is leaning blue. Nevada, we'll come back to. I'll put that one as a pure toss-up for right now. Georgia, I would give that one as leaning to Rick Saccone. Florida, I want to come back to. North Carolina, that's a tough one. It'd probably be leaning in Rick Saccone's favor, considering he's running as a Trump Republican. Ohio and Iowa, two states that I think would be leaning, but with the Rust Belt factored in, I would leave Ohio as a toss-up. Minnesota, I would leave as leaning blue. Michigan, I would leave as likely blue. Sorry, Minnesota and Michigan, likely blue. Wisconsin, I think since Conor Lamb and Rick Saccone both come from the Rust Belt, there are obviously more Democrats out there than there are Republicans, as we've seen with past elections. Rick Saccone's not necessarily the best candidate to get them to turn over the same way Donald Trump could. Virginia, that one would pretty much be likely or leaning blue, depending on how it factors out. Up in the north, I would leave New Hampshire as leaning blue. All of Maine, I don't think Rick Saccone can really bring out the rule vote the same way Donald Trump did. I think Maine at large would pretty much be leaning. I believe the 2nd district would be, Maine at large is likely. Maine 2nd district would be considered leaning, and I would leave the 1st district safe. So looking at the map, obviously another pure toss-up, Pennsylvania, both of their home states. Looking at the map, we have 211 electoral votes for Rick Saccone to 253 for Conor Lamb. Obviously, I haven't filled in Nebraska yet, but I think that one would be lean red. But looking at the map, obviously Conor Lamb will be a very known name throughout Pennsylvania, the same way John Ossoff was in Georgia. And Conor Lamb is not a stereotypical Democrat. He's very much someone who's centered around the policies of those coming from the Pennsylvania 18th District. Rick Saccone is a Trump Republican, meaning he's very good at getting people out to vote, but however, a lot of his rhetoric may not be as excusable as it is for the president, considering that the president has been doing it all of his life. Rick Saccone only won one election. He won the same election multiple times using the same rhetoric. I don't know how well that would work out on a presidential level, Donald Trump could do it, but Rick Saccone is not Donald Trump. He's not someone who can literally defend his words, defend anything he says. He would have to backtrack on a number of things if he actually went down the route Donald Trump normally goes. But Nevada, that's pretty much going to be lean blue. I don't really think Rick Saccone can bring out Latinos against the Democrats and vote for him. And looking at the map, we have 67 electoral votes that we have yet to allocate and a presidential winner that we haven't called yet. Pennsylvania, I think, would be lean blue. I do not think Rick Saccone could really win over the entire Pennsylvania voters, considering that the majority of Pennsylvanians are Democrats or independents, not Republicans. You know, I would see Pennsylvania going blue more than I could see it going red, especially with Rick Saccone. Although he is from Pennsylvania, he doesn't have the best appeal to a number of voters. Conor Lamb not only has the appeal to the Rust Belt voters, which is the Democratic's biggest voting base, and when they vote for Republicans, they lose. But the fact that he's an Army veteran would get him a lot of the military vote, especially on the Democratic side. Going down to Ohio, though, you know, that could be really close. Ohio, a lot of attention on the Rust Belt in these future elections. I don't know if Rick Saccone can really bring out the Trump effect the same way that we might expect, so I'm thinking that Conor Lamb could have a possible slim victory here, but down in Florida, I think Rick Saccone could narrowly carry the state of Florida. So final electoral map, 297 electoral votes for Conor Lamb to 241 for Rick Saccone. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.